I'm going to show you how to make a song just like Jai Wolf. Jai Wolf tends to produce chiller, slower songs, so we're going to be working at 86 BPM. Jai Wolf tends to use really simple, pretty chord progressions, so that's what we'll be doing today. So here's a really simple chord progression I came up with. It's just a C sharp major that goes into an F sharp major, and that repeats twice, but you could just loop this if you'd like. Fantastic. Now, as usual, we're going to be layering a bunch of synths for this track. So to start off, I'm using a really simple saw wave with some unison and reverb and a little bit of EQ just to roll off the low end. So here's what that synth sounds like. And the reason it's so low is I'm just using it to fill in the lower frequencies. To fill up some higher frequencies, I'm going to be using a flex patch again, a lumen sun as I usually tend to use. And here's what that sounds like. It's just the same chords, just higher. And you might be able to hear a little bit of dissonance between my F sharp and my F. I think it sounds kind of decent, so I'm just going to keep that. We'll just say it makes it a little bit spicier. And next up, I just have some very washed out saws playing some notes in the chords. So here's what those all sound like now. And for my last few layers, I'm just going to use a few random flex patches. I'm using Dystopian Lead for one, and that's just going to be playing a couple notes. And then I am also just using this DX7 lead, which is also just playing two notes. So here's what that full chord stack sounds like now. Great, so now we have our chords. Next up, I'm just going to be using a saw bass that plays the bass notes of those chords. For processing the bass, I am distorting it with Trash 2, and I'm also rolling off some of the high end so it's not clashing too much with the saws. For drums, Jai Wolf tends to use very 80s inspired, kind of synth wavy type drums. So I've got a snare that sounds like this, and I have a kick that sounds like this. Here's what the kick and snare sounds like. Now I'm going to add in some hi-hats. I'm using a really simple hi-hat rhythm. It sounds like this. And I'm layering that with a hat that just plays on each quarter note, so the hats together sound like this. And now we have our drums. So Jai Wolf tends to have these really pretty 80s inspired synths playing top lines over his drops. They usually play really simple note progressions. So again, I'm using a flex patch, and I just have this really simple melody right here. So I think I'll use that over the second half of our drop. So next up, let's get some simple vocal chops going. So for vocal chops of the Jai Wolf feel, I would recommend checking out Kashmir's packs. He has some vocals that fit really well in Jai Wolf territory. So here's what the full vocal sounds like. And I chopped it so it's just playing really simple notes over the entire drop. And here's what that sounds like here. It's very simple, but it'll add a very interesting texture to the song. Next up, I added some more vocal chops, which come from a song I'm currently writing. I'm also going to add in this little clap impact so the drop hits harder, like this. Now for build up, I'm just doing something really simple. First, I have some drums that steadily get faster, and I have a riser. Next up, I'm taking the same vocals, and I'm also taking the chords from the drop, but I'm filtering them up like this. Now lastly, I just wanted to put some random chords in the intro, so I took the chord progression with the Flex DX9 synth bass preset and played them over the intro, and those chords alone sound like this. And that's the song. It's actually quite simple. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and leave a comment on what I should do next. It would be fantastic if you could like and subscribe, as I'm so close to 500 subscribers and I'd love to hit that milestone. So once you have subscribed, the song is going to play right now.